looking deep down the left side. Mendeville into the end zone. Touchdown! Sideline still Foley to the house.
And the players streaming from the sideline to celebrate with 17 seconds left.
Welcome into BVarsity Live, everybody. I'm Zach Ewing. This is Thursday, December the 8th. And December the 9th and 10th is the dates we've had circled on our calendar for a while because it's the regional bowl games. We didn't know if we'd have teams in them or not. You just never know until the section championships are decided, but they have been decided, and a couple of coaches sitting to my left are our section champs. Paul Golla, Bakersfield High, and Darren Carr, Bakersfield Christian. So congratulations are in order, first of all, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
You guys ever met?
Long time ago.
Yeah, yeah. That's sort of the underlying story here is that they used to coach together at BHS, and the last time a Kern County team won a regional bowl game and then a state championship, you were the defensive line coach, head coach here for Bakersfield High in 2013, and so now you're sort of off on your own. Spread your wings. I swear it's not an eagle pun, but that's what happened.
Good job. Very good.
Yeah. Okay, so it was an eagle pun. I'll take credit. Yeah. And now this weekend, Friday night, tomorrow night, BCHS at Selma in the
D4
double A regional bowl game.
Mouthful.
You don't have to know that though.
I don't even
SoCal.
know what that means. I don't even know what that means.
And
Always
then,
remember that double A is greater than A.
Yeah, that's the way it
the
works.
state
but
level.
Who really? Yeah. Who knows? Who knows these things?
I know now.
And then the Division 1A Northern Cal Championship is Bakersfield High Saturday night at Del Oro in Loomis, which is outside of Sacramento. Both of those games are at 7:30, and it's an exciting time, guys. I mean, I think Darren and I were just talking about it. The pinnacle in Central Section football is to win the Valley. I think everybody agrees on that. You win that Valley, you're at the peak. But, and I'll start with you, Paul, because you coached a team to a state championship. There's more out there now.
Yeah, there's a lot more out there. And we talked about this as a team yesterday. There's a great picture of a guy with a pickaxe, and he's picking, and he's right close to hitting diamonds, right? Uh-huh. And right, he hit one more time, and he walked away, and he never knew that he was so close. And really, that's the same thing right now. It's man, it was so awesome to win the Valley, but look how close we are to this next step.
Did it feel like now that's opened up this whole new, hey, now we got to go do that again, and it's not just the Valley anymore?
Absolutely, and it's getting the kids up again. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's because it's such a big deal to win the Valley, but again, it's we got to win today. We got to focus on today, and hopefully, we get an opportunity, because there is an opportunity to win state again.
And of course, 3 years ago, you had a couple of seniors who were freshmen on a team that won a regional game at BCHS and then lost the state game. Yep. Other than those few kids, though, you don't have anybody who's been here. No. So what was your message?
No, it's, same thing, man. I mean, it's like we talked just now. It's hard to get 15, 16-year-old kids to get off their high from Friday, and our Monday was just kind of the same talk. We got to refocus, man. I know it's hard. You got to let kind of Friday be Friday, and we'll have the biggest celebration you want later on. But we get a chance to do something that's never been done in our school, and it's just getting to focus on day to day,
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys will take on Selma, an undefeated team. They're 13-0, I think. And frankly, about 11 of those games haven't even been close. They've had one or two kind of close games. What do you see on film from them? Obviously, they're going to be a huge challenge.
Yeah, I mean, if you're here right now, I mean, you got a good football team and you're well coached. It's going to be good. They love to get their athletes in space. They love to suck you up with the run and take some shots. Quarterback can throw. He can run. So it'd be a good test for us, man. The defense is, they're sound. They got a plan. They stick to it, and they go after it, man. So it's going to be good.
Darren, is this going to be the biggest test for you guys offensively against this defense? Is this going to be the best defense you've seen all year?
Well, it's one of them. It is. Tatchby, coach has been there a long time for a reason. He knows what he's doing, This coach, no different. It's just same sound defense, And when you run at teams like that are well coached, it's a tough deal.
Yep. And just want to remind viewers that we will have Del Oro head coach Casey Taylor in at the 2:30 mark, and then right after that, Matt Logue, the head coach from Selma, will be also on the. Both of those will be on the phone, and we'll interview both of them as we prepare for these two games this weekend.
Yeah. So we're gonna ask him for all their secrets, so you guys might want to
Please.
listen on the way home.
He's
Yeah.
got a great beard too, by the way.
He does. Well, that's
Yeah.
Trevor's favorite storyline of the week is the battle of the beards between
If
you
it was
and
last
Matt
year,
Lowe.
we might. Yeah.
Well, here's the
I had
thing
a
is that
battle
Darren's
going
been
on,
growing
man.
this thing for years and years and years. Where I
There
think,
he is.
yeah, there it is. Look at that thing.
There you go,
That's
there. Look at that,
that's about 2
man.
weeks ago. And you know what's funny is Matt is actually another. Here's another small world story. Is Paul, his dad, Terry Lowe, who's been a longtime head coach at Bear River High School, which is still about about a half hour farther north or northeast from Sacramento, up in Lake of the Pines. But his dad has won over 230 games at the Sac Joaquin section, and Matt played for him in 2013. And then another small world story, Matt Logue played linebacker at Sacramento State with Brett Shelton and was actually a best man, a groomsman in Shelton's wedding. So small world, how everything kind of just comes together.
Yeah, speaking of small worlds, I mean, I kind of want to explore your guys' relationship because Darren was hired at BHS as your defensive line coach in 2008. What do you look for in a young coach? Because he said, I think you hired him without even seeing him in person. It was just over the phone at first, and you liked what you heard and hired him. What was the attraction there for you?
Role models. What an unbelievable human being Coach Carr is. Just talking to him on the phone. He knows how to treat kids with respect. He has high energy. He's detailed. He wants to get better. And we got a great coach. We had a great coach with Coach Carr. And number one, role model. He's a fantastic human being.
And on the flip side, I'm sure you learned a lot with 7 years under Coach Golla too. How did you grow at BHS?
Grew a lot, man. I'm a quiet guy. Like my first couple of times, you kind of get to know me, man. And I was worried that he thought I didn't like what I was doing. I was just super quiet, and I was just soaking it all in. You know what I mean? And thought I knew football to a certain extent, but when you get down, that's something about Paul that I learned is it's details. It's not the wins. It's not this and that. It's focusing on Monday and doing that rep and doing that step right. And that's the main thing I took from him, man, is and just honestly just kind of the love that his family showed ours. Because when I was there, it wasn't easy. I mean, me and my wife were struggling. It wasn't easy. I was trying to be a teacher. He was trying to get me jobs left and right, him and Coach Durant, and I just couldn't thank him enough. I mean, honestly, it was great. So I appreciate that.
And he stuck around, and then within 2 years, he's winning Valley Championships, coach at another school.
He's done a great job. Yeah, really has. Very proud of him. Everybody's very proud of Coach Carr.
Thank you.
We'll focus in now on your game for a second, Coach Del Oro. Obviously, a team Kern County fans probably know pretty well. You beat them for the state title 3 years ago, and then they played Liberty and beat them in the regional game last year in just a classic of a game. So we know they've got a good program. They're kind of that physical smash mouth style of football, and Coach Taylor and Del Oro a little bit too.
Yeah, surprisingly, we had 12 games in the computer, and they're 60% pass, 40% run. Mm-hmm. Now, certain formations differ, but I was a little shocked. But their quarterback does a fantastic job. Big kid, extends plays. And then 3 years ago they were more of like a power ISO counter type team, and this year they run a lot of the zone read, the RPOs. And he does a great job of Coach Casey or whoever the offensive coordinator is, does a great job of understanding numbers. And, the thing that scares me is Liberty was a great football program.
Oh, sure.
Great team last year. I mean, they had it all. And this team beat them, and most of these kids are back. So there's not a lot of common opponents, but you look at last year, and it's little, makes you a little nervous.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing when you look at the difference between Stone Smart, who's their 2-year starter, now a quarterback, and what you saw in Michael Moore in 2013, where Michael's a 6'4", prototypical drop back passer, where Stone is a dual threat. And they're both big. They're both 6'4", but Stone just has that ability to do the RPOs and try to figure out if he can go with his feet, and he has. I mean, he scored 11 touchdowns on the ground, another 26 in the air. But they've got great. We'll get to it in more. But Paul, for you, I mean, I think the biggest thing is defensively. How do you guys up front kind of combat what they can do, running downhill and running on the outside, and different things like that? Because they have two great running backs, Cameron Smith and Dalton Gee as well.
And we really got to treat them as kind of a split offense where there's one play on the right and there's another play on the left. So when they're running maybe power to the right, well, we got to make sure that we have quarterback and receivers and screens covered to the left. So their offense forces you to use rules, and if you could play defense without rules, I mean, you could play pretty fast. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of reps this week and understand the rules and be able to be assignment.
you got to be pretty thankful right now that Josh Moran is back, because you could put Cam and Caden Ochoa back there on defense a little bit more.
Yeah, it certainly helps, especially this week. With they got a number 2, that wide receiver.
Mason Hurst.
Well, he does a great job, and they do a great job of just putting him in different situations, getting him the ball.
Yeah.
Well, these regional games, you talk about Liberty last year. I've talked to some of their players this year who say that loss last year soured the Valley Championship a little bit for them. I mean, it was the first one in school history for them, and it should have been. So these are a big deal, and they're well-viewed games and everything. Darren, I don't know that you touched on it, but how, in your eyes, has the Valley, the power of winning a section championship, lessened at all in now that there's a state title out there too?
Well, no, I mean, you have goals. You start that in January. What's your goal? Well, we want to win a state championship now. Now that's an opportunity, but you got to do first things first, and Valley's one of them, and kids did a great job this year, and coaches did a great job this year, and I don't think it sours anymore. I mean, it leaves probably a bad taste in Liberty's mouth, or whoever would lose, after Valley Championship, but you still accomplish something, man. It's you accomplish one of your goals, but I mean, to go after your main goal, state championship, man, it's something you work for, just like you worked for the Valley Championship. I don't think it should sour anything.
Yeah, you got to look at Ridgeview the last 2 years.
And the same thing, Lawrence White will tell you that was the thing that he takes away from his career in some ways is that he didn't win that final game. So there is sort of that aspect of it. The other aspect that I always ask at this time of year, how many games is too many games? You guys each had a bye in the playoffs. So you played 13. Del Oro's played 14. I think Selma's at 13. If you win this week, you're looking at 15. Some teams will be 16 games for a high school football player. Darren, is that too many?
Yeah, I don't think it's too many. I mean, it's funny, we have Dave on our staff, man, and he's like, man, this is kind of easy, man. We're just getting like midway through the season over here, in the NFL, whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, well, it's whatever. You do notice kids starting to have these, aches and pains because they're just not used to it.
Right.
They really aren't. But if there's a way to shorten up playoffs, that'd be phenomenal. Cut off a few games or there, 1 or 2. I think it would help the kids health-wise, but and maybe coach's sanity. I don't know, but no, I mean, whatever, man. Whatever they want to do, we'll do.
How about you, Paul? You've been in this situation a couple of times now. Too many once you get to 14, 15, 16 games?
It's a grind. I mean, it is a grind. I was just talking to Coach McEwen about that today. Is what most people don't understand, the 20 hours you put in film work on Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And then the grind with the kids. And Coach Carr's right. I mean, there's not if anybody's playing right now, they're banged up. I mean, coaches are banged up, right? Everybody's banged up. But the opportunity is incredible. Yeah. Because if you win a state title, it's just when you win that last game of the year, it's incredible. And would it leave a sour taste? I think it would. Because you just lost. You just had a great season, and you end it by losing. But what you did, you had a great season, and you won a Valley Championship, and that is a goal. But the biggest thing is it is a long year, and I don't know the way they have the. So many. I consider these bowl games now. I don't know about it being a state championship anymore. So I don't know.
Well, but Paul, isn't it much like Texas now, where it is still a state championship? Maybe it needs to get to a point where they take away the section playoffs and it's a full state. You would say this is the state divisional playoffs, and you find the regional matchups that work best, and then you work towards that state. But Darren, you guys are playing, in the high 4 state playoffs. You're not going to walk away going, oh, we only won a D4 regional game. You're going to say, we won a state title.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll play how many games they want us to play, man. It don't matter to me.
You got to think about it. How many, with 33 million people in California, maybe we do need 13 state championships because there are so many kids that play football? I don't know.
You've been on that bandwagon from the beginning. You like the extra divisions.
Well, Joe Davidson up at the Sacramento Bee was a good friend of mine. Obviously, you met Joe. He spoke at my wedding in August. He had an article this week where he said, the small schools are the ones that are benefiting the most.
Yeah.
It's the Mendotas, it's the Strathmores, or up there it's the East Nicholas, Kennedy. Those schools that normally would have been totally left out, not even talked about previously, now have the chance because they're doing it on the field and not just waiting for somebody in a boardroom going, you know what, that's not a good matchup for us. There are so many other teams that are more fitting for this.
Well, we got to take a break. We're going to come back with Coach Golla and Coach Carr here after the break to talk a little bit more about the regional bowl games this weekend. This is BVarsity Live, and we're back after this.
Kern County, and we have